In a world with entirely too many shows about cars, this is another pointless automotive podcast.
So I says to Mabel, welcome
Hmm.
back to another Pointless
Hi.
Automotive podcast. Chadwick and Frank back at it again, folks.
Woo.
Just what you didn't ask for. Frank, how's it
Exactly.
going this evening, man?
You know what? Pretty good. It's raining quite hard to the point
Mm.
where, like, because I record in my garage and I just have a garage door that let's see if I can do this for those playing along at home. I have a garage door that I just like made after like a bunch of drinking one night.
Oh,
And so
it's wooden.
it is wooden. It's like a barn door style thing because I had someone quote me like $12,000 for them to build one. So I said, hell no. So I like $400 in materials and a 36 pack later and a weekend. And I built that. And so it's like not insulated or particularly well sealed. And so wind and rain and noise. So if you hear some raindrops, that's why.
Nice.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm great. How are you, sir?
Hanging in there, man. A lot of interesting life events going on recently,
Yeah.
but trying to stay up with the car stuff because we still love
Ooh.
that whenever we can get the time to do that kind of stuff. And dude, I was just thinking, like, we talk about a lot of weird cards on this
Yes.
this little thing we do, this little podcast. And sometimes cars kind of fall into two camps. I think when a car comes out, it's either like hyped to the moon, like this is going to be the next big enthusiast car. This thing's going to change the market, blah, blah, blah. You get that. And then you get the stuff that's like, people are like, this is a pretty good car. We should look at it. And it doesn't get all that attention. So I kind of divide that up into accurately hyped vehicles, which you have on one hand, and then overhyped on the other. And you know what? It's hard to predict. And I want to say journalists are fair and impartial, but I think we'll both believe that
I don't know.
maybe not everybody. Not everybody.
I think the difference between a journalist and just someone who like plays one on TV, so to speak, is a journalist. Hopefully, I mean, there's always going to be some biases. That's inevitable, but I think there's more. Those biases are more limited or more controlled by a journalist than someone who just isn't a journalist. But there's still biases, though, right? Because they're still people.
I pick a bone with that, Frank, because I'm kind of a movie buff, and if you look at like a Rotten Tomatoes, right, where you have your critic scores and your viewer scores, I tend to err on the side of viewers because they are far more like, it's from the heart. It's usually there's less bias actually in that sample size or that data set. So I
think that's fair.
I take that value, that rating from the viewers versus the critics. And
that's fair because I feel like
there's like a professional qualifier in there, but I don't know. No, man,
because I think my take on that is I think generally that makes sense and that's correct. But I think journalists or just not even journalists, just car idiots, which we would definitely put ourselves in that camp. But on the whole, are always more interested in things that the general population kind of doesn't care about. That's why like Teslas do so well, even though every journalist and every car person is like, these interiors are garbage. The fit and finish is awful.
Yeah.
Aunt Maybell doesn't know or doesn't care. She's like, oh, look at the soft leather and look at this roof and it's got a whoopee cushion. And so, I think, I don't know, that we're kind of going off the rails here a little bit, but like, which never happens. But yeah, I think siding with the people and what the people want. I mean, half the time the people are wrong and that's okay. But also half the time journalists are going to want things that the people don't care about and therefore the manufacturers don't care about, right? That's why there's a dearth of affordable sports cars. That's why the manual transmission is dying. That's why there's like a handful of convertibles left. You can kind of go on all these things that journalists want and that car geeks want, but they're not the ones really spending the money. The ones really spending money are the populace. And that's why we get so many crossovers.
It is true. So let's get this crazy train back on the tracks, my friend.
Oh, okay.
Back to it. I thought it'd be kind of fun if we each kind of elect a vehicle and state what you think it is first, if it's accurately hyped or overhyped, and then kind of defend that loosely, and we can kind of tennis match back and forth. And I'd say ground truth, but we're car idiots too, so it's probably not that accurate. But we can
And a
kind of
lot
bounce
of
it off each other.
and a lot of what I'm thinking is like not new stuff. Like there's a lot of things I'm thinking of that are like, oh, here's this car that like everyone like, let's say, Mark IV Supra,
Mm,
right? Like,
that's
is
a
that
good one. Let's
appropriately
start
hyped?
there.
Is it
Let's
okay?
let's jump
I
off.
wasn't even thinking about that, and it just seemed to. I didn't want to step on my own dick and say something I wanted to talk about, but let's run with it. And it's actually kind of a tough one because that's like my genuine poster child. Like
Mm.
as 15-year-old me, pre Fast and Furious, like that was the one I wanted. Ain't no way in hell that's $160,000 car.
Fuck no.
And there's just no.
That's a $40,000 car. That car should be
Yes.
$40,000.
And even then, I would be like, this is a car. This is like I finally made it car, and I would have a truly hard time spending 40 grand.
Fuck it. Let's go to
get it.
Tangent Land. Did you see that rusted out one that went for that insane amount of money? I
what
was like,
did it finish
dude,
at? Like 50 or something? I didn't see what it
it
ended
was
up
like
finishing at.
no, it was like 80 something. And I was just when they showed the giant holes,
The
and
deck
like
lid was just like put your fist into it.
Get the fuck out of here, guys.
Yeah, was it like royal blue pearl or whatever that bluish purplish color? I don't remember.
Know.
It was like an obscure color. It was a slick top, but like,
automatic too, right?
I don't remember.
I think it was the worst of all things.
If it was very clean. No, I think it was a pretty uncommon spec. I think it was like a slick top manual, one owner car, but with like 328,000 miles and like a mountain of rust. If it was clean with that mileage on it and one owner, I would be all about it. But it was dead. It was a corpse, a rotting corpse. But yeah, those cars. That's actually one that makes me like genuinely sad.
Yeah,
because
so that
is one that I would have regardless of whether other people liked it or not, or whether the market appreciated it or not, or whether movies were made about it or not, that was a car that I have like always deeply wanted the moment it came out.
So that one we're referring to did go for 49.5, heavily rusted. The mileage 388,000.
388. Okay, I thought it was 328.
388, 199.
Toyota baby. Boy, that's
too much.
Although you kind of get to be like, if I bought it though, I would just do like make sure the mechanics are tight as a drum. And I kind of feel, oh yeah, dude, have it be the one. Like you take it in, oh my god, that's that car. Like it would have its own provenance.
Except you're 50K in the hole, in which case we could have bought a lot of very compelling automobiles.
Yeah. What's your take on that car? Not that rust bucket car, but so
what did you say?
Supra.
I feel like you didn't even pass judgment.
I mean, it's over, and it hurts me deeply to say that.
Yeah. I think
like I take it personally that it is overhyped. Like it might not even be overhyped. It's that it's overpriced.
Yeah, but that's part
of it.
And
I guess it's overhyped too. But it's to the point where it's a meme, and it's been a meme.
It's bonkers, dude. And like, so I'm with you. I think accurately hyped when it came out because it was an authentic Japanese sports car that really put some numbers down. And it was an all around good performance car, pretty good looks for the time, was cool. And it was a Toyota product, right? So we were all into that. I think it was accurately hyped. Now, absolutely, dude. I don't think it's performance or what makes it special. I don't know what the special sauce really is. I know it can be tuned to 1,000 horsepower, like 50% of them are. But to me, at this point in my life, it's like, I don't, the looks, the rear end is better looking than the front end. I think the front end's very soft and roundy.
Catfishy.
Yeah. But it's a cool car. I'm not hating on it, but I do believe it's legitimately overhyped in today's market.
Yeah, there's the prices are almost indefensible. Like they truly are. And they were overpriced in period to the point where that's why it died out. It's like there was some price like at the end of the run they were in like the high 50s, and it was just nobody, and probably adjust for inflation, that high 50s and like 97, 98 is probably what 90s today.
Yeah, because it was really getting too close to an NSX, and the NSX was a lot different from a mid-engine technology standpoint.
Yeah, different.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it was creeping too much into that territory. Only a few $1,000s apart. It's kind of crazy when you compare those two cars.
Yeah, very good cars. Impossibly cool. I've never actually driven one. and I need to one day. That's a car
The Supra
I
or
need
the
to.
NSX?
I've driven an NSX. I've never driven a Supra. And that makes me really sad. I need to do that, but
Oh,
like not at the cost of entry.
yeah.
Like
I've
I'm
never.
not to get a really clean, good manual. Like I'm not paying six figures. Like
No, it's
deep
not.
into the six figures.
Not worth it. And I've
No.
driven a slightly modified. It had a tune on it and a slightly larger turbo setup, Mark IV, and it was fun. It was a
Mhm.
straight line car, is what it was
Yeah.
designed for, and that one was built for that. But I'd take my NSX, like handling dynamics and personality, over it any day. So I
Oh
don't.
yeah, they're very different.
Yeah, they shouldn't be pissing in the same pool, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
But
they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be splooging in the same mouth.
here's a it's hot on the tail of that one. The Fiesta ST, my friend, when that thing rolled
Ooh.
out, and I'm going to start off right off saying accurately hyped, because
Yeah, I think that's
we,
right.
dude, for so long, I personally, like, I love Japanese cars and I always have, but I have loved European hot hatches, like just always had a place in my goddamn heart. I like hot hatches and I love the European ones the most. It was forbidden fruit until the Focus ST came out, right? And I went to the
Mhm.
DC Auto Show the year that came out and I was like, I'm buying one of these. And then the Fiesta ST came out and said, fuck that, I'm buying that, because I liked how
I
it
can
looked
save
better.
$4,000. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked how it looked better. It was almost the same performance wise. The handling was a little better. I really liked it. And honestly, everybody fell in love with it. Every review of that car when it came out was like, this is the next best thing like coming out. You
Mhm.
guys got to get behind this car. And it sold well. It did well performance wise. Like, I loved it. I had a Recaro package, tuxedo black 2014. I bought it with, like, I was the second owner. It had like 15K on it. Loved the shit out of that car, dude. So that's all I gotta say. I'd say at the end of the day, that's an absolutely accurately hyped vehicle. How about you, my man? What's your take on the Fist?
Yeah, I think it would be like it's appropriately hyped. I
Yeah.
think it's almost underhyped, except for they kind of fall apart. Like they don't have a great track record of holding up, which is a shame because they're they're the right size,
Mm-hmm.
they're the right price, the right ethos, and so that's a car that's another car I would like to. I've never driven a Fist,
Oh
and I
God.
would love to, and I'd like to own one. But I know, like I've heard many a story of them. How many miles were on yours when you got rid of it?
I sold it with like 48,000. So I only had
Brilliant,
it a couple years. Yeah.
brilliant. Right, I was. I feel like at like the 50,000-60,000 mile mark is when they start disintegrating. So because of that, I think they're appropriately hyped, and people
Mhm.
love them. Like anyone who spends time with them and knows cars and knows those cars, like, oh, they're great, they're fun, they're a riot. But that's a car I would love to Turo for a weekend. I don't know if I want to own.
Mhm. Or get one that's already been done over, like whatever it's going to be, a head gasket or whatever the hell the issue is. Because
I think it's just like everything, like
no,
the
the
electronic shit the bed.
the interior
Um,
was good. I like Sync. I think Sync was one of the better infotainments from that
boo-doo-doo,
period.
boo-doo-doo,
Yeah, exactly. The
boo-doo-doo.
Ford chimes. But dude, it's just the handling dynamics. Like, you didn't even have to really modify it. And I'd put like a Cobb stage whatever tune on it, and it was just what a riot. Good
Mhm.
gearbox. That motor is insane. Punches way above its weight class. But yeah, cool car.
Um, let's see. You know what's another good one?
Hmm.
Have you ever driven a 930? Uh like a Porsche 911 turbo?
I don't think I
The
have.
G body bumper cars? Yeah. Um I have. They're hilarious in a lot of ways. Have you ever driven an air-cooled 911?
I have many, mostly SCs, a
Okay.
couple Targas, but no,
Yeah.
never with the turbo. The only turbo Porsche, well, the oldest turbo Porsche I ever drove was a 996, which is a completely
Okay.
different animal, but goddamn, it's fast.
Let's talk about maybe we'll talk about that car in
We
a minute.
should.
But before we get to that, the 930,
Well, also, we should have bought them when they were 35K. I'm just gonna say that right now,
yeah. Yeah,
dude.
you can get a hurt one for like the low 40s.
I know. Good
Um
car. Good
but
car.
yeah, so before we go there, let's the 930. Um I'm gonna say overhyped, and I think that car
Oh,
is over. I think it's overhyped. Um, they're cool because of the aura around them, right? Like, oh, the
mhm.
Widowmaker, the early ones were
Yeah.
like, the nothing, 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 the suck you into your seat kind of thing. And they are very much that, but they are so let down by their transmission and gearing. That those cars were like, I drove the one I had a fair amount of seat time in was an 80. I've driven a couple, but the one I had the most seat time on was an 87. So late-ish run, but the only 89 was the only year they got a 5-speed, so it was still a 4-speed manual, and those were built to be like Autobahn missiles. So those gears are tall.
Yep,
I took it on a twisty road, and it's just like, well, you put it in second gear, and you just don't touch the shifter. But when that happens, then like, because the way it bakes boost is just at the top third of the range, it doesn't really do anything below $4,000. It kind of sucks on a twisty road, which is a shame because it's a car that you would want to take on, like at least a twisty road I took it on. There's probably a few that are like just the right speed and sweepers and really high speed stuff, but that's not the stuff I like.
Yeah,
because I don't like. Yeah, and so I don't know. I thought it was the driving experience was very overhyped. In a straight like merging onto the freeway and just giving it the beans, fun. That was cool. But I don't know. It's overhyped, certainly overpriced, and I don't know. I think I honestly would rather have just a 3.2 Carrera than I would a turbo car.
I mean, let's add a little bit to this. Air-cooled Porsches in general, I think they're overhyped. I think I see shit boxes. I love them. I love how they look. I like the simple precision of them would be the best way to describe them. They look great, but God damn it, man. These like complete basket case ones slapped together in someone's backyard shed and asking $55K for like clear history, clearly mismatched shit going on. I just can't get behind it.
They'll get that 55.
Yeah, it will. And the problem is like dynamically, I don't think they're that good stock. Like a stock like mid 80s air-cooled Porsche 911 is fine. It's fine.
They're quirky. Yeah, they're quirky. Like, you've got like floor hinge pedals and the shifter's in an interesting space, and
it's a loud layout is cabin.
Kind of funny.
Yeah, you got a loud cabin. It's the engine sounds like a broken sewing machine. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I don't hate those things. I like those very analog things. But to me, I don't think it justifies the price point these cars are going for. And the ones you're finding now, the good ones are already gone. Right, let's be brutally honest.
The good ones are gone or deeply overpriced.
Yeah, and the ones you're finding now are like fucking these shitty ones that have changed hands like 20 times in the past 5 years. And it to me, in general, overhyped, my friend.
I can't argue with that. I do think there are some out there. The problem for me is they're expensive. They're well built. They're generally pretty reliable. Yeah. There's an enormous amount of support. There's some cool options and colors and things like that, but they built a ton of them. And so it's not unique. I mean, like when I think of one, it's like, oh yeah, there's somebody cruising around in like a red 85 Carrera with Fuchs on it. And it was like a dentist owned it. Like that. It was like, you're a dentist in 1986. And that's your car. And so, I don't know. I like them, but I do think they almost feel like it's a reflexive purchase for someone who is just like, I want a vintage car. I'm gonna get an air-cooled Porsche, and it's not a bad choice, but it's I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit of a hot take because you and I both know an enormous amount of people that live and die with those cars. And so I don't know.
I just feel like there's
rarely do I see one and go, oh, wow, look at that. Yeah. And the concept of spending like $65,000 on a car that's like kind of forgettable. I don't know.
I just feel like there's a ton of them, like you said, and like, I don't know. I didn't mean to hijack. I didn't have any experience with the turbo.
No, that's good. No, that is
general.
Good.
Yeah.
Hey, I think that's a perfect sequitur. And I think if does that make another tangent here? Me thinking that a car is like, oh, that's too common. That's like not obscure enough.
Oh, hipster man over here.
That's what I mean. Does that make me like a car hipster? Does that make
Dude, you're fucking?
Does that make me like Like, I'm only into the band before they're cool, and then once the band is cool, I don't like them anymore. They've
I
sold
only
out.
drive a fucking car that has a numbered badge on it. That's all I care about.
Right? Yeah, it's got to have a gold oval plaque on its dash.
Mm-hmm.
But like, truthfully though, like I think I'd like have a 50, let's say a $60,000 nice Carrera, like 3.2 Carrera,
But if you
or
did, dude,
or a
if you
mint $10,000 quad 442. Like, I don't know.
but if you
I
had
don't
60
know.
grand, how much other shit would you buy? We would buy, so I wouldn't waste it on a 911. I would not a waste,
Or buy
but I
something
wouldn't
for
spend it all on a
20.
911.
Buy
Yeah.
something for 20 and do like $40,000 worth of like travel and events in that car. Like, how sick is that?
Or buy like an FDRX7 and a bunch of other cool shit boxes and be like
Right.
way happier. I don't know.
Right.
There's so much.
Or you're live like us and be have more complex life with like storage and care and feeding issues. But
it's fucking, it's
but yes.
horrible.
So let's circle back to the 996 though.
Oh, okay. What
So
do
I know
got?
you mentioned 996 turbo.
That car fetched.
Do we want? I like those cars a lot. I actually just drove one.
They're so good,
like 2
and
days ago.
you can get they had the G50 package, correct? Am I correct?
X51.
X51, and
Yeah.
that really upped a lot of the handling and performance of it. But out of the box, those 996 turbos are absolute
Good.
monsters,
They're good.
and you didn't have any of the goddamn bore scoring or what else?
Mesker motor. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a straight up race engine. I mean, it's good.
They're good. They're
There's
bulletproof.
coolant in
You
that
don't have
motor.
the IMS issues.
Yep, no IMS.
You don't have to. Yeah, it's got coolant in it. You don't have to worry about. Really, there's a few minor things you need to worry about. That mostly there's like a coolant pipe that like delaminates from the heads or the block or wherever it is, and you weld them in place, and there's a fix, and that's it.
Yeah.
But outside of that, so I've driven a few. The last two that I've driven, one was a very nice. I want to say it sold for like 90. It was an '05 Turbo S, which is only year you can get that, and it had like 32,000 miles or something like that. It was perfect. And it was tight as a drum. It was such a nice car. And then just this week I drove one with 143,000 miles on it, and still drove really nice.
They are faster than you'd think. Like that's the first thing when I got in there. And if you keep your foot down, Jesus Christ, the way that turbo builds.
What I like about them is just the shifter is a tiny bit clunky, but outside of that, like the steering is really, it's taut and it's weighted perfectly. It's not like dirty like a lot of these like modern cars. They're just super direct. It's not that direct. It's got a little bit more old school 90s car feeling to it, but like it's perfectly weighted and just really tight. And they just hold up well. They don't have a ton of flair in the interior. It's just like some analog gauges, some LCD readouts, and people bag on those interiors. I think they're actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do miss when they were 35 grand. You can get a pretty good one now for 50.
Yeah, that's a shame.
I mean, I think I'd rather have one than an air cooled car. I mean, it's 100%. A very different vibe, but it's a much better drive.
Way faster. You're talking echelons of speed above those.
Oh yeah. I mean, they were silly fast in period, and they're still like proper fast.
Yeah.
You can hustle those cars. So I'm a big fan. I they were underhyped forever. I still think they're I would say appropriately hyped, but maybe even still a little bit underhyped, I think.
Yeah.
The 996 Turbo.
Agree. They're starting to get that recognition as the prices are reflecting that. I think people are coming on board, but I got another one for you, man. More of a modern car. The original Scion FRS in BRZ. I'm going to say it, and I've driven a few of these, modified and stocked. Overhyped.
I think that. I haven't driven the new one. I've only driven the OG version.
So yeah, I've not driven the OG. One. So lightweight rear-wheel drive sports cars coming back, and we all got excited. We're like, oh, the second coming. They've got the 86 name. It's pulling all the heartstrings. They drive okay. They came. Remember, you could get the Prius Primacy tires with them, and they would just break loose. It just
Yeah.
the
That's
thought
by
of
design, though. Like
yeah,
you were
they
supposed to
had
go
to make it
sideways.
fun because with grippy tires, the stock ones were not that quick, and there was this power like dip at like the 3,500, 4,500 range where it felt like it lost all the torque, but that was just how that
The old
engine
torque dip.
was. And there was tuning, of course, that could make that better, but nah, dude, it was fine. You know what? I think the BRZ had the better interior of the two versus the
Yeah,
FRS.
I think that's
But
the
besides
rub.
that, it was, and the looks haven't aged incredibly well. So
They
I'm gonna
look
say,
okay. Their silhouette's pretty okay. Like I think it's an interesting.
what bothers me, dude, is now you will never unsee this, Frank. The
Uh-oh.
third brake light is on little pedestals.
I'll have to look. I
So you know how there's like a deck lid or like
Mhm.
a parcel
No.
shelf or whatever you want to call it
Yes.
inside the glass? Look, it's on like these toothpick
Little stands.
pedestals. It's the worst thing. You'll see nothing but
Oh
this for the
man.
rest of your
All
life.
right, I'll have to look.
They're cool. I still think they're cool cars. I think they're kind of overpriced still. I think the
Oh,
prices
I
should
don't
have gone way
know.
down.
I think I've seen ones that are like seem relatively clean for like under 10.
I mean, it's a Subaru engine, so you know if you like,
Well,
it's not
roll the
easiest thing
dice.
to work on. But yeah, I don't know.
Are those
Overhyped.
timing chain motors or belts? I think they're chain.
Good question.
What is it? Is it the FA20? I actually don't know.
I
I'm
think
not
it
up on.
is. Yeah, it might be a chain engine. I think those NAs at that point were for Subaru. So
And it's yeah, I suppose they're overhyped because the ones I have driven, I've always walked away disappointed. I remember the first one I drove. I had a buddy of mine had one. It was when they were still in production, that first gen one. This was probably, I don't know, 2011, 2012. And he had the rowdiest, nastiest, most droniest, shittiest, buzziest exhaust on it. And I think it was otherwise stock.
yeah,
And I forgot what the situation was. I think it was like he had too much to drink and I didn't really drink anything. I was like, all right, I'll whatever, I'll drive you home. So I'm driving his car. I'm just like getting on the freeway and I just like give it the beans and it just makes an enormous amount of noise and just is like
doesn't go.
utterly disappointing. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Dude, what is it? Everyone I see, they have the back bumper cut out, and you can see like the entire muffler system in the rear subframe. And they
Yeah.
always have some ungodly lip on the front and horrible wheels. And it still is slow as dog shit. It's
how
like,
how about this though? So we're overhyping it today.
mhm.
If you have a very clean stock one in like a good color in like 15 years, you
They
think
won't
that's going to be?
exist.
You think
That won't
some
exist.
will exist?
No, it'll be like they'll be asking 20,000 for it.
Maybe, but 20,000 in 15 years might be the equivalent of like 6,000 today with inflation at this rate.
There's so many shit boxes I'd rather get, like a Dodge Dart.
Yeah. Ooh, it's an SXT.
With the
It's got that
what's it?
multi-air or the
The
Tiger
multi-air
Shark.
or the what's Tiger
The
Shark?
Tiger Shark. Oh boy.
Garbage.
I don't know. I think that would be. I think they might eventually like get to the point where they will become what like they were the heir apparent of, which was the AE86, which is like, yeah, there's not going to be a drift movie made about them, but
Why didn't
finding a stock unbutchered one is going to be hard. They're still going to be slow in rear wheel drive, but you can get them sideways and they're kind of buzzy and like and bubbly, and they've got a good chassis.
why didn't
And
they strap a turbo to it, Frank? Was it because the Supra? Was it because the Supra was coming out?
no,
Uh,
I don't think so.
Because they did make the
Because
four-cylinder Supra with the turbo. Just
they
saying.
did, but the rest of the car could handle it. I think that car,
Dude,
if you
that
were going
chassis.
to,
So I will say the
chassis is
chassis
good,
was good.
but
I
the
think it could have
brakes,
taken a turbo. You
you'd have to do
upgrade that.
brakes.
It's like an STI. You don't put an STI power plant in a WRX. You know, I mean you do, and then you fucking pay
you
the
do.
price.
Yeah.
But I don't think they wanted to step on like their own dick, like you said earlier, and with the Super coming out, I think they didn't want to do that.
I mean,
think
maybe
that
they didn't want to
car
curb stomp
weighing
their own dick, but that car
2,700
came out.
pounds. 2,700 pounds, Frank, with a turbo.
But it came out what, a decade before the Super did? So
They
I don't
knew
know.
it. Yeah, but they were
don't
working on that Supra way back in the day, dude.
You mean BMW was? I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of the next. How about this? C8 Corvette.
Oh,
C8 Corvette. I've actually not driven one, so maybe this was a terrible one to pick.
I have not. I've only the last one I drove was a C7.
I've driven C1, C4, C5, C6, C7. I've not driven C2 or C3.
Either have I.
Or 8.
That's kind of funny. Yeah.
2, 3, or 8. I don't know. Should we just fucking pass on it then?
I don't know. Honestly, the fact that it's automatic only, how that rubs me. Fast is all hell. All the tests, right? Like it's really kicking some ass, especially the Z06. The more I see them, the less I think they're attractive. I thought the C7 was an exceptionally good looking Corvette. I thought that car, and when I see a clean C7 still, like especially a Z06, I think that looks the business. More so. I think the C8, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. It's something about it's too long. I don't know what it is. The dimensions are weird to me. I mean,
yeah, I think
I don't know.
Corvettes are always tricky because I feel like every single generation of Corvette has the exact same price and popularity arc where it comes out, everyone goes, "Oh my god, it's a supercar slayer. It punches so high above its weight." And then they sell for like huge markups and are waitlisted and stuff for like a year or two. And then they level off for one more year, and then the prices and popularity falls off a cliff until the next generation. And I think that has happened with at least since the C4, kind of happened with every Corvette. And even the C4, they drug that thing out so long they had to like do a facelift and add a Z06 and add a Grand Sport, and add a collector's edition, and add a whatever.
ZR1.
And a CR1. And then that's what I meant when I said Z06. And then C5. Same deal. Oh my god, it's revolutionary. It's so much better and faster than the last car. And then when even the interior is a little bit better. And then everyone goes, "Oh, the interior is actually garbage." And and I don't like the styling, and only douchebags drive it. And I'm not paying markup for this, and it still has a push rod V8 and burp, 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 burp. And then the C6 comes out and goes, "Oh my god, it punches above its weight." And it's the same. It's just watch, repeat.
Maybe
every single generation.
You're right. Maybe it's too soon to judge. I don't know. I think it's overhyped. Especially those guys turning around and putting them on auction sites for stuff.
Oh, insane. Insane.
Get out of here. Get out. I don't think that justified the price. But I do got a car for you. I think it's a car we both have driven many versions of. The 2002 Subaru WRX. Accurately hyped. I'm going to say it.
I still think it's actually under. I think it's a little underhyped.
Right. So when I wrote this, it was accurately or over.
Yes, I think it's accurately, but trending towards under, because I still think they are. I don't know. You say your piece on it.
So yes. So this is when it was released in 2001. I said accurately hyped because I was in the military at the time. We had expendable incomes. We were buying stupid cars, a lot of Camaros, a lot of Firebirds. Yeah. And one of my buddies bought one of these, and it was the fastest fucking thing that was on base. There was a couple guys with Supras. This was the age where you could buy a Supra for nothing, by the way.
For like 18 grand.
Yeah, stupid shit, right? Integra Type R's were like 10 grand.
Oh, yeah.
Accurately hyped, because this was forbidden fruit again, just like I said with the Fiesta ST. We never got the rally car versions here. We got the Impreza RS, which I think looks amazing. The GC is a good-looking Impreza, but 160 horsepower, 165 ponies out of a NA flat 4. Yeah. So we finally got the hot rally car. It looked cool as fuck. Like, I actually love the bug eye looks. We had all-wheel drive turbo, 227 horsepower, 5-speed manual, all you needed. And it was a bomb of a car. And it really, really established, ever since then, Subaru never went back. They never stopped making these fun rally versions. So your take, my friend, I think accurately hyped when released. And then, we'll talk about present in a little bit. But what do you think when that thing rolled out?
I think, accurately hyped, because they came out with a bunch of fanfare. And I remember, so I graduated high school in 2002. So my senior year in high school is when this car came out. And it was before this, the only thing that was remotely comparable would have been like the ST 185 Celica All Track.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just always, as much as I was like a Mopar muscle geek with my Barracuda, I was always like a diehard, like older Toyota truther. And so, like, yeah, like I always deeply wanted an all track. And that the fact that this car came out, which was actually lighter and quicker, more powerful, all the things, and it was in production and it showed up, and it was like, I mean, what, like a fully optioned one was like 22, 23 grand.
Yeah, like, yeah, 23, 24.
They were
Yeah,
not expensive.
insane.
Um, which is so cool. And there was a kid at my high school, like his senior year, that car came out and his parents bought him one. It was a World Rally Blue sedan, 5-speed. And it was just like, oh my God. It was insanity. And so, and then I ended up owning one. I owned one in, this was like 07, 08, 09. I think I got rid of it in like, I think, you know what? I think I got it in 08 and I think I had it until like 2010, 2011. What a car.
Yeah.
Those cars will always hold a special spot in kind of in my heart. They're just, it's such a good, it was the perfect inexpensive all arounder
Yeah.
where it was pretty reliable,
Mhm.
pretty darn fast, handled
Yeah.
pretty darn well, was pretty darn practical to very practical if you got the wagon version.
Yep. Had one.
And just, you, is there anything, I almost say, is there anything like it in the market today? Because I don't know that the current WRX is actually that WRX in the market today. Because, time goes on, there's bloat, right? But like, what's a base WRX right now?
Good. I mean, it's got to be in the mid 30s, right? Got to be.
I want to say it's like, yeah, probably which probably maybe adjust for inflation, it might be roughly the same amount. But
I don't think it's, yeah, but it's not as hard cut as the old WRX. It's like definitely more of a commuter. Sure, it's got more power,
it's,
but not enough to justify what, 20 years of evolution.
and you know what, this is
See
gonna
that?
sound,
I threw,
this
a,
is
I
gonna,
threw a Mitsubishi term in there
there you
for
go.
you.
Hey, I you know what, that was my next circle back. But the my thought is, okay, when I feel like this is a universal truth when somebody, like, when they go to like move out for the first time, like, oh, I'm gonna go to school, or I'm gonna move out and do my own thing, like you kind of want to like have the kitchen that's full of like hand me down plates, and you get like the thrift store couch and the TV, the shitty TV on eggshells, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm living frugal, I'm doing my own thing, and it's like you kind of like, and you can just like play beer pong in the living room, and just like a light bulb hanging on a chain is like your light fixture, and like it's kind of fun and it's kind of cool, like that, you kind of want that. There was a little bit of that to that bug eye WRX, where like the interior was like barely nice enough. People bagged on it. I actually didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah,
But
had a
like,
Momo steering wheel, man. What are you
yeah, and
talking
the
about?
buckets were, the bucket seats were nice,
Good, yeah.
and it had a little push to pop out cup holder that would break instantly. And the newer ones, it's like there's like tech, and it's like it's almost too nice. Like I wish it was a little bit, I wish it was more down market, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. Because that original one was more down market. It was a little lighter. It was more sprightly.
Dude,
It was smaller.
you could get an '04 STI without even a radio. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I love those things. Even better, even more crazy.
So yeah, so I would say in period appropriately hyped. Today, still a little bit underhyped.
Sure.
And I know we're starting to run a little bit long on time,
We're
but
running
like,
real long. Yeah.
but you can tell we it's been a minute. The in period, as I said, like that car will always hold a special place for me a little bit. Now, today, are you team, say, 04, 05 Subaru? and the WRX, the STI,
Mm.
or with time and hindsight, are you Team Evo?
It's so hard to say, man, because honestly, I love them both. I love them both the same. I've owned a lot of really cool turbo Subarus, owned some turbo Mitsubishis as well.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. The Evos tend to fetch a little more money. I'll be honest. You can get an '05 STI for half the price of like a really good
comparable
Evo,
Evo.
so
Yeah,
or decent Evo. So yeah, I I don't know, man. That's tough.
I think.
I really want an '05 STI in World Rally Blue. I just want it. I want it stock, and I just want to fucking love it.
Is it weird that I'd prefer an '04? Is that weird? With
It's
the
the same.
with the silly, well, it's got the silly like gray hard plastic steering wheel and the small bolt pattern wheels. That's
I
probably
like
the only difference,
the '05.
honestly.
The '05. I think the suspension was a little different too. So I think I'd take the '05.
Had the inverted struts and all that, or
Yeah, I think
yeah,
I'd go for that. Even though, of course, I want an Evo, but the Gallant almost gets me there. So I'm good with the budget Evo, and I
yeah, the
go all
Prevo.
in on
Yeah,
yeah,
it's I'm torn too because in period I would be like, what idiot buys a Mitsubishi? You got to get the Subaru. But
yeah.
now in retrospect, I feel like, and I don't know if it's because Mitsubishi is almost effectively an orphan brand,
Yeah.
but the Evo, I feel like just it oozes way more cool and badassery, and less like vapor bro vibe. I
I don't know.
suppose.
I see a stock '04, '05 STI.
So cool
It's
though.
still cool. It's
They're
so
still
good
so
looking.
cool.
Yeah.
World
It's like,
with the gold wheels,
yep, that's it. World Rally Blue for some reason just
World
fucking
Rally Blue,
rocks, dude.
gold wheels. Um,
You
what's
just
your
can't
thought
go
on
wrong.
STI Limited? Go 07 STI Limited?
Fuck that noise.
No,
No,
everyone I see is gray, and I feel like you would have to get the pearl white. Like the only way to get that car is pearl white.
yeah, it does look good in that. But that '05,
Only way
that
to get the pearl white.
interior too is so money, dude. Love that blue interior. So to me, that's the same as like a Type R red
Ah,
interior from the '90s. I'm
see,
gonna
now I
say it.
feel like I want to find a cheap one. Like
You
find one
can't.
with like 180K on it, but like it's kind of clean.
It's still 20K. If it's stock, it's
Mm,
20K at least
I don't
starting
know.
point.
I bet you can get one for like 15.
I bet you can.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I bet you can.
Done a
And then you could
provisional
show me that
timing belt.
final, yeah, show me that final build cost. But let's get
Anyways,
quizzical, man. This was
yeah.
fun. We could have done this forever. This
Yes.
is actually pretty fun. But
I'll do
I've got
another
a
one,
good
a
quiz for
redo.
you. I'm gonna get my yeah, we gotta I'm gonna get my quiz all queued up. If you want to explain to
Yeah.
our wonderful viewers what we're about to do.
And how. All right, everybody. The way this works is our still 100 and nearly 130 episodes in, and don't have an actual good name for this. Maybe one day when we get sponsored by Ling Long Tires, they can put like a panel together and everyone can come up with a name for it. Ling Long presents the print ad quiz show, which in this particular instance, Chadwick here is going to find a magazine article, print ad advertisement from the 80s to 90s up to the mid 2000s, and he will read the type copy from that advertisement. He will redact out any overly identifying information like make, model, copyrighted bits and pieces, and it will then be incumbent upon me within 3 guesses to guess what kind of vehicle we are talking about. In between those guesses, if I get it wrong, which I won't, I can ask for a hint, and I will get 10 minutes after he's done reading the ad to sluice and figure this all out. Please play along at home. I'm ready. If y'all are ready, Chadwick, are you ready?
I am ready. Let's go. The ad quality is not the highest caliber.
Brilliant.
But we will squint through it. 2-pager, my friend. The vehicle occupies entire bottom half of both pages. We're looking at a driver's side 3/4. A gentleman stands with his arms crossed at the rear of the vehicle, wearing khaki pants, a pink polo shirt, and sporting one hell of a mustache. So it says blank, a lasting impression for and it's a era of time, a decade, if you will. So
the
it
90s.
says the all new blank. We asked California artist Ed Lister to capture it on canvas. Did he?
Eddie.
Good old Edward Lister.
Not Mo Lister.
No, let me see.
That's
First name child.
right.
You decide, but when you see the completely redesigned blank, we think It'll make a strong and positive impression on you.
Oh.
Impressive control. An all new adjustable ride control system lets you select the ride you desire, soft for a comfortable ride, sport, or an automatic setting that selects the best suspension feel at varying speeds.
Mm.
Bullshit. Quality and convenience. Buick, sorry.
Oh, wah,
Yeah,
wah.
well, anyway,
No.
you still,
Hit number one.
it's still going to be hard.
Does that mean I lose a guess?
I know, you're good. Quality is evident. Why did I spit that one out? Through the new blank in thoughtful touches like rear seat ventilation heat ducts and the extensive of two-sided galvanized steel to fight corrosion. These things rusted out.
Apparently.
This quality feature is backed by a 6-year, 100,000-mile rust warranty. There are 2 asterisks after that statement.
Sure.
We know how that works. Advanced safety. Every blank gives you the smooth stopping control of anti-lock brakes and the security of power door locks.
Ooh.
Powerful performance. The standard fuel injected, you would have gotten this brand probably by this, injected 3,300
Oh.
V6 in the blank delivers 160 horsepower and 185 foot-pounds of torque for smooth and confident power. Blah, blah, blah. Visit your local blank, blank, blank. Huge hint there, my friend, on the house tonight, because this might have been a stumper.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's pretty damn difficult regardless, because there's a lot of tomfoolery. Well, this definitely feels
10 minutes, my friend.
And I mentioned it when just based upon the pink polo and the khakis and the mustachioed man. It feels like this shit was like this is like an ad from like 1991. They're like,
we're declaring this is our decade.
Mm.
We're Buick.
Boy, no door count.
Nope.
3,300, lots of ABS because GM of the era.
Yeah.
What did they put the 3,800? Sorry, they put the 3,800 in fucking everything.
Mm-hmm.
But the 33. So this makes me feel like we're trying to think what other GM stablemates use the 3.3. Because in my head, a lot of stuff used the 3.4, the 3.5, the 3.8, the 3.1, but the 3.3.
3.3 is a weird one.
Yeah. I feel like
it's still tough.
It is. Okay, so we've got some like vents, some galvanized bullshit that no one cares about. With
100,000-mile rust,
some questionable warranties. I want to say it's the smaller car in the stable. So you had like the LeSabre, which was I think like the intermediate. I'm gonna say this is a 1991 Buick Skylark, because that was a smaller car. You can get it as a coupe, and I think you can get it as a sedan in this era. And I know it came with the smaller motors because I think you can get it with a quad 4. Or is that the Achieva? Hot damn. Oldsmobile Achieva, I think, was its stablemate. So I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to say it's the Buick, 1991 Buick Skylark.
Skylark, a lasting impression for the 90s. You got it, my friend. And it is 1992, so real close on the year as well. I don't know how the fuck we haven't run this ad. Sorry about the Buick drop. I got so excited. This car looks fucking cool.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the coupe that I was thinking about, and they did eventually make a four door of that, right? Or am I hallucinating on?
I kind of feel like there was a 4-door Skylark in the mid '90s, but that covering up the rear wheel was an Oldsmobile and Buick thing that I thought was so goddamn ugly. But you know what? Yes. It is what it is, right?
The semi spats. Yeah. The two-tone though. I'm a fan of the two-tone.
Cool looking. Yeah, and the coupe actually works. It makes it look a little sportier.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, could you get the 3,300 in the Achieva? Because I might have gone that without the Buick hint.
I think you're right. I think that's because the 38 they only put in the bigger boys, you know. It would have been
but it's so tough because the 3,800 there was the 3,300 then there was the 31, and there was also the Quad 4, and
That's true.
And like, so what? You said that what 160 horsepower in the ad, and
Not
what
bad.
the low power Quad 4 in that made like 150 horsepower
Not
to
far
100,
off.
like, so like such a weird era of GM where there was some really cool stuff and some just like disastrous misses, which I suppose that's just the story of General Motors, right?
Still, yeah.
Yeah,
Haven't
exactly.
outgrown it.
On
So
the
good,
prologue. Anyways,
good job, my friend. First time, shot the target. But
will help.
let's celebrate with a little PCP, a little project car progress, if you will. And Frank, what have you got to report for PCP? Nothing. Okay, so what I've been working on.
Yes.
You haven't done anything? Come on.
I actually have a little bit.
All right, we're up against on time. Let's be quick. I'm going to do mine so fast.
So remember, for those of you that are steadfast listeners and tune in every week, you might know the whole story of the key situation that I've had on my LS 430, which was I bought it. It only had the valet key. The master key was missing. I had taken to 4 different people to try and get a replacement master key program to it.
Garbage.
And everyone told me a different version of we hate you, kick rocks. I did some research on my own. I found out a way that somebody else can do it because I don't have the equipment to do it. I was still told to kick rocks and that my car will get brickified, debrickishaw Ferguson, if I try and wipe out the security module and reprogram from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to a dealership in Pleasanton. They told me, yes, we can do it. Bring it on in. But you have to purchase a key from us, even though you already have a freaking key. We won't do it unless you buy a key from us new. And so I said, okay, that's if you get it fixed, then okay, that I'm okay with that. But what happens if you charge me for the key and then you can't get it to work? Are you still going to just like hand me a key that doesn't work and charge me for it? He's like, well, if we sell you the part, we sell you the part. I was like, well, like,
damn.
No. So then I ended up talking to the dealership in Santa Rosa, which is a whole hour and 15-minute drive from my house. And they're like, yeah, I think we can do it. They're like, but you got to order a key from us. I'm like, God damn it. All right, fine. So I was like, but if you can't program it, like, am I like, they're like, we're going to get it done. We can do this. I'm not going to even entertain that because we're getting it done. And they said, okay, fine.
Nice.
Like I'm on board with your level of confidence. I will buy your damn key. Plus, I had to go to that dealership anyways to get the service records for my little CT that I bought because they had all of the service records from it. And maybe I'll talk about that part next week. But they had all the service records for it. So I had to go there anyways. So, all right, go on over there. I tell them exactly what they need to do. Here's all the things. So I get there. They order the key. I go there the next morning. They're like, hey, the key we ordered, they sent us the wrong damn key. While I'm sitting there, like in their lobby, I'm like, okay, what are my options? They're like, well, you can leave it here, take a service loaner, we'll order the right key, it'll be here tomorrow, and then we'll program that. Or since you brought that master key that you already bought, we just won't charge you for a key. We'll only charge you for the labor, and we'll program the key you brought. I said, yeah, do that. So they did. They're freaking. They like do this, and they did it, and it worked. It actually worked. It was $133 of labor, or sorry, $233 of labor. And that's it. Took the key. I have all the smart functionalities. I can reset that freaking maintenance reminder. I can get in the trunk. I can lock it and unlock it from the outside easily. Like it's a whole new car and it's fabulous. So I'm immediately going to sell it. So I got to get the bumpers done, which I haven't sorted out yet, but I am very, very happy. My car didn't get bricked. It cost me under $300. I now have a working master key and a working valet key. The world is right and everything is great. And I drove it like that for like 9,000 miles. And now it's all proper.
God damn.
It took 5 freaking chefs in the kitchen to make it right.
Follow-up action. Once you get those bumpers done, call your boy. Let's do a review of that car, man.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah,
yes.
LS 430.
Yeah, we need to do that because I'm going to run it. I'm just going to let it rip, no reserve on cars and bids, which will be fun. But yeah, I will gladly support you and making some content with it. That'll be
And
fun.
you can link to that video if you want. Show people that it actually
Yeah.
drives nicely and looks nice and all that fun stuff.
And they'll get to see you doing like a neutral drop to get the maximum, the 0 to 60 time.
Horrible.
What have you been up to?
So real quick, my PCP, also Lexus dealer, if you will. That's where we get our drugs. GX 470, man. So I finally sat down, had time to detail the family truck. What a great truck. Again, one owner, had 144K on the clock when I bought it. Really hard to find them like that, to tell you the truth. Did a review of it. God damn, this thing hauls ass, dude. 0 to 60 of 7.55 seconds, which is 2 seconds quicker than my LX with the same power plant and 3 seconds quicker than my Land Cruiser, which was, same power plant, down on power, pre-VVTi. What a truck. I've honestly, can I be real though? A full detail of a truck like that, interior and exterior, that's a whole day.
A lot of work. Yeah,
it's a whole goddamn day. So I'm going to put that as honest to God PCP, because that's an endeavor, but worth it. The truck looks great now. Looks great on video, and I can't ask for a better thing. And I think if people are like out there and they don't need a brand new vehicle and they need like something family reliable but still nice, like it's not a shitty vehicle, GX is kind of the way to do it, man.
I'm a hardcore GX truther. Like I kind of prefer the GX to the LX, and I know that's sacrilege, but like I really
like the footprint more. It's smaller.
Yeah,
it's
that's what I mean.
Smaller.
It's not even that much like shorter. I mean, it is shorter.
It's shorter,
far
but
narrower.
You have a little bit more headroom, which for me is awesome. Like,
no, it's good.
I don't know.
They're really, really good. I like those. Yeah. I like those trucks a lot. If only they found a way to get 30 miles a gallon, they would be the world's greatest vehicle.
Yeah, the engine wouldn't last 300,000 miles, So it's like the trade-offs, right? Like,
no, for sure. Yeah,
you get this very competent, very powerful, off-road capable, luxury-minded,
so butter smooth.
Don't have to do shit to run the damn thing. The running costs are effectively just fuel, and that balances out. I'd rather have fuel be my running cost versus like head gaskets or fuel pumps or stupid shit like that. So great truck. That's all I got, man. Close us down, Frank. Let's shut this thing down.
Goodbye. Happy trails, everybody. Thanks for listening and tuning in. Yes, this has been a lot of fun. The behind the scenes, we actually had recorded one of these for a little bit. We had some in the can. We were ramping up due to life events, some foreseen, some unforeseen. But here we are, and this is a lot of fun. That's why we went a little bit long here, because, well, we've just been chatterbox over here. So thank you for putting up with it. We really appreciate you guys listening. It's fun and it's special, and we're gonna build new things soon. So if you want to follow along, there is the Nearly Abandoned Instagram at APA Podcast. Check us out. You could watch us in video format. That's APA Podcast on the YouTube, as they call it. If you want to stalk me digitally, I'm the Photographer's Garage on things. What about you, Mr. Wick?
Yeah,
John Wick or Chadwick or whatever your name is.
A little bit of both. Auto Obsessive Garage, mostly on YouTube. Your rescues, your restorations, and your reviews even. You can check me out there. A little bit on Instagram, same handle. But can we still use the term handle? Yeah, I'm going to use that. Handle.
Yeah, That's what I've been drinking this whole podcast is out of it.
I like your style.
Yes, pop off.
Just what Frank said. Thanks for listening, guys. We love you, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.
Goodbye.